The Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.
To continue the line of our headlines, the IMF also disbursed emergency assistance of $1.4 billion to Ukraine on March 9 under the Rapid Financing Instrument, RFI, to help meet urgent financing needs and mitigate the economic impact of the war. IMF staff remains closely engaged with the authorities to provide policy support as they continue to design and implement effective crisis mitigation measures. The IMF is also currently working with Moldova that has requested an augmentation of its existing IMF-supported program. The fund stands ready to support neighboring and other countries affected by the spillovers of the war through all its instruments. The key interview this week definitely was with IMF's Kristalina Georgieva, who elaborated on how the global sanctions are affecting Russia and what could be the overall impact of growing sanctions on Russia's economy. Here is a short soundbite from the interview with Face the Nation.
We expect deep recession in Russia, and this abrupt contraction is affecting already how the Russian population is taking the hit on them. The ruble depreciated significantly. What does it mean? Real incomes have shrunk. Purchasing power of the Russian population has significantly diminished. In terms of servicing debt obligations, I can say that no longer we think of Russian default as improbable event. Russia has the money to service its debt, but cannot access it. What I'm more concerned is that there are consequences that go beyond Ukraine and Russia.
It is clear that although Russia's share in global GDP is around 2%, the spillover effects of these strict sanctions on the rest of the world is inevitable, and the West has already agreed that it is willing to take the sacrifice in order to ensure global peace and security. And Ukraine today is the example of how to defend its independence and bring the light at the end of the dark tunnel for the rest of the world as well. Here is a short analysis from the IMF's Kristalina Georgieva, again on the most vulnerable part of the world in terms of the spillover effects.
What we are mostly concerned about are the immediate neighbors of Russia and Ukraine, the Central Asian republics, the Caucasus, Moldova, because they have trade relations with both Russia and Ukraine, more than the rest of the world, and because of this outflow of people, refugee wave in Europe that is of the order of magnitude of what happened in the Second World War. So there the impact is most significant. Beyond the immediate neighbors, there are two groups of countries we are very worried. The first group are countries that have yet to recover from the COVID-induced economic crisis. For them, this shock is particularly painful. And the second group of countries are those that are more dependent on energy imports from Russia, because there the impact on consumption, but also on inflation, is going to be more prominent.
The Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.